going on, everybody? For those of you already subscribed to this channel, welcome back to another video. And for those of you new here, welcome to Imperial Diecast. Today, I got something very special for you guys. This is the brand new Audi A8 extended wheelbase, also marked as L in 1/18 scale, made by Norev. So here you're looking at the model as it comes in the box. The box itself is wrapped with plastic, and now let's unbox this model. I bought this model about 2 months ago from eBay from a French retailer who was actually selling it for $59.99 and free shipping, which is crazy, because usually this model goes for anywhere between 80 to 120 euros, which is quite expensive for this Norev. The cool thing about Norev styrofoam packaging is that not only is the model visible from the outside, but it also comes in 2 pieces, which makes unboxing a whole lot easier. So here is the car in all its extended wheelbase glory. Usually when you think of technologically advanced cars, you think of concept cars, Formula 1 cars, or LMPs. But can a 4-door family sedan ever fall under this category? With the brand new Audi A8, it can. Now, while this car is packed to the brim with the latest tech, can this luxury limousine from Ingolstadt beat its rivals from München and Stuttgart? And by that I mean the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes-Benz S-Class, especially in 1/18 diecast model form. Let's find out. Now this is the 4th generation Audi A8, codenamed D5, whose exterior is based on the Audi Prologue concept that was shown in coupe and estate wagon form at the 2014 LA Auto Show. The new A8 also featured in a Spider-Man Homecoming ad in mid-2017 where Peter Parker attends driving school. So now that the new D5 Audi A8 is here, both in the real world and in diecast model form, let's take a closer look at it by beginning from the front. Now, when they said that the grille of this Audi A8 was huge, they were not kidding. I mean, just look at the size of this thing. This is humongous. And the best part about it is that every single bar is made out of real chrome. Let's check out the Audi logo. This is about as close as I can get to the 4 rings of Audi. And you can see that when I'm waving with my hand in the background, the chrome reflects that. It looks really nice. Next to the logo, you can see the word Quattro. This is an indication for the vehicle's all-wheel drive. Below the logo, we have a European license plate. You got the 12 stars of the European Union here, and below it says Germany. IN stands for Ingolstadt. You got the crest of Bavaria here, and A8, obviously for Audi A8, and 5, probably for D5. Now, if you look at the grille itself, you can see that it is actually perforated. And you can see the radiator behind it, so that is very nice. Now let's take a closer look at the headlights. Now, unfortunately, even on the real car, these headlights are somewhat of a disappointment. I mean, if you compare these with the facelifted version of the D4 Audi A8, where the DRLs were designed in such a way that they looked like wings of an angel or a bird, these matrix LED headlights kind of look a little too sharp. However, this is not the fault of Norev. I think they've replicated these new headlights as best as they could. And even in real life, this top part here is completely black and will only turn on when the light itself is on. And down here is actually where you have the real headlights, because this here are the high beam lamps. And over here, of course, you have the turn signal. Officially, these are called matrix LED laser headlamps with high beam assist. So these are actually your individual headlamps. This is your DRL strip. And this part here is your high beam. You got your headlight washers here. Now moving further down, we actually even have a fog lamp down there, although it's just part of the car body and not a separate piece. Now down below, you can see additional chrome strips running down the front of the car. And again, just returning to the main grille, I don't know about you, but I just love it. Like in the beginning, I was quite skeptical about it, because if you remember, the old Audi A8 used to have a front grille that kind of ended like this, somewhere like this, whereas this one is far wider. But I think that it really does suit the looks of the car. It just takes a little getting used to. Now let's take a closer look at the engine. As you can see, the shut lines on this model are pretty tight, so it's kind of hard to open the engine. But once you get it open, you'll be able to see that Norev has done a pretty solid job here as well. Now the car comes with various engines. There's a 3-liter V6, a 4-liter V8, and a 6-liter W12 gasoline engine, and a 3-liter V6 and 4-liter V8 diesel engine. This one, as you can see, is the 4-liter TDI, which is a short form for turbocharged direct injection. It's a V8 with 429 horsepower. The top speed is capped to 250 km per hour. 0 to 100 km per hour can be achieved in less than 5.9 seconds, which is impressive for a car that has a dry weight of 2 tons. Of course, on these modern cars, you cannot really see much into the engine itself, but from what is there, I think that Norev has done a really good job on the engine. I mean, you can see that the engine block itself looks very realistic. You've got the Audi logo, you've got the V8 TDI branded on it, and to its right, you can see a canister with a blue cap, which probably contains windshield washer fluid. You can see a few cables down here, and small grills up here and here. Alright, let's move on to the rest of the car. Moving on to the car's side profile, this is probably where you will notice that this is an extended wheelbase car. That is to say that this is the A8L instead of the A8, because the rear passenger door is bigger than the front door. The door window panels are high quality and have no scratches in them. Now on the real car, not only is this car all-wheel drive, as mentioned earlier, but it comes with rear-wheel steering as well, which is pretty amazing. The dynamic steering of the Audi A8 makes it as maneuverable as an A3. Now moving on to this car's rims, I mean, just check out the amount of detail on them. You've got the Audi logo in the middle, surrounded by 5 lug nuts, with the individual octagonal bolts visible in the middle. Behind, we have a brake disc and a black brake caliper. The brake disc does not have any features on it, so it's a little bit hard to follow. But if you pay close attention, you will see that the brake disc moves through the caliper, as it should. So that's good. Up here we have the mirrors. They have a chrome trim as well. Now let's take a look at the rear wheel, which is also done very nicely. The real car has air suspension. Our 118 scale model by Norev has suspension as well, both front and rear. And speaking of suspension, the real car comes with a sophisticated system which Audi calls Pre-Sense Side, which is a collision protection system. And what it does is it senses any fast-moving object approaching the Audi from the sides, and before it impacts with the car, the suspension will just jack itself up on one side, and the window panels are quickly raised to protect the passengers. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk a little bit about the back of this car. Obviously, the first thing you'll notice is this huge, ginormous taillight which stretches from one corner of the car all the way to the other. These are actually organic light-emitting diodes, or OLED taillights. And such a giant light bar is really tough to model as a single piece without any pegs, but hey, Norev has managed it. So hats off. Above it, you've got the Audi logo, and below, the license plate. Over here it says A8L. Again, the L is for Langversion, or extended wheelbase. And you'll see that these rings are actually slightly three-dimensional stickers. In fact, the taillights are so shiny that it kind of feels like they're already switched on. That's how nicely they glow. It's a really good material that Norev used here to make them. Visually speaking, the taillights of the new Audi A8 have a lot of resemblance to those of the BMW 7 Series, don't they? And moving further down, you can see that we have here a second set of lights. Again, this is not painted. This is an additional individual piece, although you have two pegs here, and same on the other side. I'm still happy that we actually do have these lights. And even further down, you have a single huge chrome strip, and on either side of it, the exhausts. Now, these exhausts on the real car are actually fake exhausts. Now let's check out the trunk. The trunk opens up pretty easily. So taking a look inside the trunk, one disappointment you'll notice immediately is that there is no carpeting. This is quite unusual for Norevs, because you'd usually expect them to also extend their carpet into the trunk. However, on the Pro side, we do have some pretty nice looking scuff plates here, which protect your luggage from scratching up the paint off your car as you move it into the trunk. Now let's see all the things that we can fit inside. And I guess that's about it. It's a tight fit. Yep, we're pretty full. And we're good to go. You got your fuel cap on the right side, but it does not open. The mirrors are pretty good quality, so I'm happy with that. And now we can move on to the interior of the car. But before we do that, let's just take a look at the doors themselves. Now you can see that this car has a silver trim running along its doors. However, on the real car, this would be where the mood lighting LEDs would be placed. You got your door bins here. It's a little bit of room to put something in. And now let's move on to the interior. Now the center air vents are not modeled, but that's okay because even in the real car, they're actually covered by a panel of wood, which will open up to reveal them when you start the car. Down center, you can see that there is one big LCD screen, but on the real car there's actually two of them, with the other one being directly below it, which is not having a sticker here. These are supposed to represent two large touchscreens which have haptic feedback on the real car, and a lot of users have complained that the switch from mechanical buttons to a fully touch-sensitive console is going to leave behind a lot of fingerprints. But on the real car you have voice control, so you don't really have to touch the screens. Now on the screen below, which is not modeled in this car, you have the aircon controls. However, on the LCD screen that is modeled in this car, it'll show you the navigation. And the best thing about the top screen is that it recreates a 360-degree surrounding of your car. Say your car is in your garage. the cameras around the Audi A8 will scan your garage from all angles and recreate it as a backdrop for the 3D model of the A8 on the screen. So that's great for manual parking. The real car also comes with autonomous driving function up to 60 km per hour, available in certain countries. It even has adaptive cruise control to keep you in lane. Now what you're seeing there in the middle is an 8-speed Tiptronic gearbox. The tray next to it contains 2 cup holders and a 12-volt lighter. You can also see that the seatbelt latches on this car are painted red. So here we are at the driver's side, and you can see the new steering wheel here with the Audi logo in the center, surrounded by a silver trim. The instrument cluster here is just a sticker. However, keep in mind that on the real car, it's also a flat LCD panel. The real A8 also comes with remote control parking as a feature, which can be done either by keeping a button pressed while in the car, or out of the car via mobile phone. You got your rear view mirror and your cabin lights up there, although this looks a lot better on the iscale BMW 7 Series. Let's move on to the back. Open the back doors. And immediately you're greeted to these 2 black LCD screens. On a Mercedes S-Class, you have to control these with a remote, but on the Audi A8, they are touchscreens. In real life, the Audi A8 also comes in a 3-seater version which does not have this rear center console, but a fold-down center armrest, with a small handheld and removable LCD screen built into it. This model by Norev, however, comes with the luxury package. With this screen, you can control the reading lights as well as the interior lighting and change its color and raise or lower the sun blinds. This 1/18 scale model by Norev also has the buttons modeled below the screen, which on the real car would adjust the seats. And if you look at those doors back there, you can see the sound speakers with a distinctive texture pattern on them, and behind them you have door bins. Now you see those door handles there? Talking about this one. Just by tapping on these door handles, the doors open on an Audi A8. You don't have to pull them all the way out. And here's a look at the carpeting. So this car does have carpeting, both in the back and in the front. It's just that it doesn't have it in the trunk. Sadly, there are no sunroofs on this car, although on the real car it is an available option. Norev also could have put a little bit more detail into the reading lights back here, but they kept it at a very basic level. However, you can see the door grips up there, so that's at least nice. Here's a look at the rear seats. They do look pretty standard. Well guys, that's about as much as there is to see on the interior of this Audi A8 by Norev. Of course, another thing I forgot to show you is that there is a rear vent over there for the passengers. But apart from that, there's really not much to see because the interior is black. Now, Norev is going to be releasing a dark blue version of the Audi A8L very soon, like in just a few weeks from making this video. And it's going to have a bright interior. It's also going to have slightly better LCD screens because they're going to come with a sticker bearing the Audi branding. However, on the downside, the screen here is going to be in the same beige color as the rest of the interior, which is going to look really odd. So keep your eyes peeled for that model on eBay and other places. And then you can take the decision whether you want to buy this one in black or buy that one instead. Personally, I think that Audi A8s always look fantastic in black, and this is one of those cars where having a black interior as well is somewhat excusable. But if you have a different taste, go for the blue one. And one thing I forgot to show you is, of course, that the front wheels swivel from side to side, and the steering wheel steers accordingly. And here's a quick look at the bottom of the car. You can see that it says Norev Audi A8L, and the drive shaft is highlighted in silver, leading up all the way to the exhausts. And these are the real ones. not these fake ones. Well, that's about it, guys. I hope you liked this review, and do subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. This is Imperial Diecast, signing out.